And if you're tuning in for the first time, this is your host, Dawood Bedrosian with Real Sense Now. Any information about real estate, I'm your go-to guy. You can always reach me at realsensenow.com, or you can call in the show 321-339-1055. I have a very special guest in the show with me here today. We're talking about all things real estate and, more importantly, how immigration is really affecting the landscape, or I should say enhancing the landscape in which we live in, and really kind of changing the demographics of our city here. We're seeing a huge influx of people coming in from the Northeast, even all the way out west from California, relocating to Florida and wanting to call it home. I have a ton of friends that have been either on the sidelines waiting for a work visa or a business visa to essentially come into fruition so that they can come back to the United States from places like Canada and Italy. And everything's been put on pause. So the guest today is an expert in the field, Mr. Nayef Mubarak from Mubarak Law. And he's been educating us on immigration policies and things that you need to know when it comes to immigration. So Nayef, here's a great question for you. With every new administration comes a significant change to the immigration policies that are on hand. In your experience, practicing immigration law, what are some of the trends that you've been noticing?
I mean, so there's a very apparent black and white things that have changed, right? So under the previous administration, there was an attempt several times to end the DACA Dreamers program. So DACA is Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. We've been hearing about Dreamers for 20, 25 years, waiting for some type of immigration reform to actually come to fruition. And so that case under the President Trump's administration was, the Supreme Court said that it was ended improperly, so they sent it back to USCIS. But now with the new change in the administration, the Biden administration is not going to try to end DACA. Another thing that's been very clear is, I don't know much about this particular portion, but the issues at the border. Correct. Right. So we don't have the Mexican border in Florida, so we don't have that huge amount of volume of cases or issues. But under Trump's administration, there was waiting in Mexico for your asylum hearing. The Biden administration is not doing that, that was the only administration who actually ever did that. And then now we have also good news for Venezuelans. Called Temporary Protected Status, which is TPS. And we love our acronyms, by the way, in immigration.
I can tell. So I've learned a couple already.
We love ICE, you got DHS, you got EOIR, CBP, everything. We have, so Temporary Protected Status is designated by the Department of Homeland Security whenever a country is under severe strife or some type of war or natural disaster. So when Haiti had that terrible earthquake, I think 10 years ago, or 11 now, that was a temporary protected status issued for Haitians, right? And so now Venezuela has been under, really bad turmoil and strife. So we finally received the Venezuelan TPS. And this was actually really lobbied for by a lot. Like Senator Marco Rubio's office has been pushing for it. And on Trump's last day in office, like the night before the inauguration, he issued an executive order granting what's called Deferred Enforced Departure, or DED, and this was to allow them to be protected from removal or deportation and get a work permit. It didn't go as far as temporary protected status, which is a little bit longer protections and also allows for travel documents and things like that. So, for Venezuelans, anybody basically who's been here since March 8th of 2021 could qualify for this temporary protected status. And you could even maintain your status. So we're doing a lot of international students who just simply want to register because we don't know if immigration reform is actually going to happen, and maybe there'll be a room in there for DACA recipients or for TPS applicants.
That's amazing. So speak to us about some of the humanitarian aspects of immigration law, and more importantly, how you have been instrumental in helping a lot of those people that are in need of your service.
So the Immigration Act, I think, is actually larger than the tax code, right? So we have, the deportation, the criminal, the asylums, and we also have humanitarian things, which asylum falls under. And one of the things is like the Violence Against Women's Act. It's VAWA, right?
Another one.
So for VAWA, this protects individuals from being abused by their U.S. citizen spouse or legal residents, because a lot of times they are, I mean, it's really unfortunate. I see 3 or 4 a month. And basically, men and women are being abused by their petitioners and basically kind of held hostage in a way, like where who's going to believe you? You're just a dumb immigrant, right? I'm an American. I have your passport. You'll never see your kids again. So a lot of times people were stuck with their abusers and not able to get away. So the Violence Against Women's Act allows for them to essentially self-petition and not have that worry of losing their whole life here because the other person is doing that. There's also, trafficking visas for people who've been human trafficked. It's called the T visa. And there's also U visas. The U visas is for victims of crimes, particular crimes that have been basically explicitly written in the law that basically, aggravated battery or rape or something, and you can apply for a U visa. Reason being, the idea is for a long time, immigrants were actually being victims of crimes, right? People knew that they had cash in the mattress, right? They knew that they had this and they were hot targets, and they would never report the crimes for fear of the police then reporting them to immigration. Correct. So the U visa is one way to help people report the crimes and help people, come out of the shadows when they've been victims themselves. So there's our humanitarian aspects, and of course there's asylum, which we spoke about. And, so I think, we need some reform, but there's a lot, for somebody who comes from a field where there's so much criticism on our laws, there's a lot of good, and can it be better? Sure. And I think that's what we're trying to do. So this is, a good part of the case. And like I said, we do see them pretty often, unfortunately. So if you are I do want to say like a little PSA, if you are a victim of domestic violence, there's so many options for you. There's Harbor House, there's places to go, there's free legal representation. Definitely consult with an attorney. Even if you feel like you can't get away, we could always do a Zoom call or contact us on social media.
And thank you for sharing all of that. But more importantly, for the listener out there that's just tuning in, how can they get a hold of you, and how can they reach out to get some help from somebody like yourself?
Sure. So we are basically on all the social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and then our phone number is 407-502-3000 and mubaraklaw.com. And we have a lot of information on our website too, even for car accidents. So a lot of times immigrants don't think that they have rights with car accidents. Well, no, you're injured too. You have rights in those cases. So
that's an expanding area of law in your practice right now, right?
Right. So I've been doing immigration for 11 years and the personal injury for about 4.5. So that's kind of, they trust you with your life. So then they come back when they've been in an accident. And I kept them at some point, maybe I should just keep it in-house, know? So that's what we've been trying to do. And
what's one crucial thing that you would want people to know when it comes to personal injury or car insurance even?
Okay, so there's 2 things that I think of, and I say it every Facebook Live. And I say, if you love somebody, you tell them to get uninsured motorist insurance. Okay, UM, right? That's not immigration. That's a UM under. Basically, Florida does not require somebody to carry bodily injury. So if you're in an accident and you have a broken arm and you have bills in $20,000 or $30,000, you probably have PIP coverage of $10,000. The excess bills and the bodily injury demand that we want to make, if the other person doesn't have insurance, we're SOL. There's nothing that can be done on that unless you have UM, and it's probably going to cost $20, $30 extra a month. But to have that peace of mind that you and your family are protected is that. The only other thing then, if you are in a car accident, just wait for the police report. Please wait for the police report. Don't take the person's word for it. I promise you they'll probably change their statement to the insurance carrier that they call. I know it takes several hours for usually them to come out and make those reports. So those are the 2 things I would like people to know. And of course, for Americans and immigrants alike, we have these rights. And if you have any questions about it, just don't hesitate. We do speak 4 languages in our office. Arabic.
What languages is it?
Arabic, English, Spanish, Portuguese, and actually French. So we 5. So
5.
we have very good diverse abilities and capabilities. And so if you need anything, please just don't hesitate.
So that must hold a lot of stress on you to be able to serve as many people that you do, that essentially are entrusting you with their lives and more importantly, their future. I'm not adding any more pressure by saying this, by the way. But
my chest just got tight.
I know, right?
Thank you.
You're like an elephant sitting on your chest.
Yeah.
So what's next for you in your practice? I mean, thank you for all your good service, of course, but
I think I'm gonna chill for a little bit.
Yeah?
Like I am gonna just like really focus and sharpen our skills and really represent our clients to the best ability. We've grown, and I'm thankful, and we're blessed, and we have wonderful clients who we've been able to deliver for. And I want to make sure that that's my focus.
Keep doing what you're doing. I'm really glad that you were able to come onto the show, and I was really glad that you're able to share all this really great information. We've really covered a lot of really great topics here, and more importantly, really touched on the essence of what's happening in the fabric of our society with what's going on with people immigrating from different parts of the United States and coming to Florida, as well as people considering wanting to relocate from other countries in the world and considering Florida as an option. You know, we've heard all the digital murmuring that, you know, Miami is trying to bring over Silicon Valley with at least the billionaire set. And obviously there's a ton of people relocating from different places. I even got a phone call the other day for somebody from Canada that wants to move back to
And I know we don't have
Florida.
time, but I did want to just reference that I know you're a realtor and you do a wonderful job for your clients. And we have so many realtors that we work with because of the commercial real estate aspect to get the investor visas. So, you know, if realtors or anything have any questions, you know, let us know. And we are happy to see what options are available for your clients. And it's like a good little tool set to you have. So you can tell a client, you know, in addition to having a wonderful business, perhaps you can get a visa out of it if they are international.
Can you just quickly touch on that since we only have a few minutes left? So for my realtor friends out there, what are some of the key things that you would need to know so that you can help your clients stay here and get a visa?
So we need to know country of nationality. And sometimes people have multiple. So ask for everybody and ask for the spouse, because maybe the spouse has a different nationality and might lead to different options. Levels of education, investment capital amount, and any negative history or criminal history. We would need to know about those things.
Guys, if you have questions, please reach out to Nayef Mubarak at mubaraklaw.com. If you have any questions for me, you can always reach me at realsensenow.com. Tune in every Saturday between 11 and 12. We'll be here to answer all things real estate. Signing off, Dawood Bedrosian here.